News 4 Jax starts right now with a breaking news alert.
Good evening. That local breaking news alert is in downtown Jacksonville, where Marissa Alexander just walked out of court. She has completed her jail sentence, and now she's going to begin her community control probation.
A crowd greeted her on the courthouse steps as she walked out. Alexander will now begin 2 years of community control, which means she'll wear a GPS monitoring device.
We have multiple crews at the courthouse. We begin with Jim Pickett, who was there when Alexander made a statement tonight. Jim?
You know, Tarek, basically she was obviously happy being released and that she's going to be under community correction control with an ankle bracelet for 2 years. Now, I was walking with her as she was able to walk out of here, going through that, you know, trying to ask her questions, even though they weren't going to ask about what her plans were for tonight, what's going to happen now. Her attorney didn't really want her to talk, but she did issue that statement, as you had said, and here's what she told the crowd.
Although the journey has been long and there have been many difficult moments, I could not have arrived here and where I am today without the many thoughts and many prayers of so many people who have voiced their support and encouragement. Words can never express my gratitude for those who have stood by me, including my children and family. I'm also grateful that Judge Daniel approached this case with such care and diligence.
You know, Judge Daniel said in the courtroom as well that there's going to be a lot of reaction to this. A lot of things on the minimum mandatory sentences are going to be discussed. There is a lot that will come from this case, even though she's going home tonight to be with her young daughter and with her family and a lot of support. Now, talking to the state attorney's office, Vic Michelucci has that end of the story. He joins us live now.
And Jim, I talked to prosecutors Richard Manti and London Kite. They have been working this case, they said, very hard. They did agree to that plea deal back a couple months ago, and this was their reaction after the judge's decision.
Were you hoping to get the additional 2 years probation?
If we weren't hoping that the judge would give it, we wouldn't have asked for it. So yes, obviously, that's what we thought was appropriate in this case.
Why do you think you didn't get the probation?
I think the judge told you why. He said in his opinion, which is the one that mattered today, he believed that it wasn't necessary.
So that's Richard Manti there with the state attorney's office. He said that he agrees with the judge's decision, even though he was asking for a little bit more time probation. Marissa Alexander will spend 2 years in probation, the same amount of time she's going to be in community control with that GPS ankle monitor. But she will not have to have probation after that. The state attorney's office was asking for a total of 4 years probation. Overall, though, they seemed to get what they wanted, and that was 2 years of essentially house arrest. Marissa Alexander will be a convicted felon. She will not be allowed to have a firearm. She will also not be allowed to have any contact with her ex-husband, Rico Gray, whom this incident centered around, or his 2 children. Now, I want to pitch it over to Francesca Amaker, and she has been speaking with supporters of Marissa Alexander who have been out here all day. Francesca?
That's right, Vic. I mean, supporters have been out here all day. In fact, I want to point out that I was speaking earlier to the folks who put all those quilts on the lawn at the Duval County Courthouse. They actually got here at 5 a.m. this morning and have been waiting for this hearing all day. I also want to point out that most of their quilts said things like domestic violence is wrong, and a lot of those quilts also spoke against spousal abuse, and specifically, these were all supporters for Marissa Alexander out here today. Now, I also do want to point out that right now this lawn is empty because they have just wrapped up, but we do still have quite a few of the supporters, and some of these folks, specifically you, Denise, you were inside that courtroom. What was it like?
Oh, very tense, very dramatic, a lot of tears, surprise. It was just the whole gamut of emotions.
And a lot of people, as we saw Alexander coming down those stairs, in fact, I was inside of the court, inside of this courthouse as she was walking out with her defense team. I mean, you could see the light on her face. A lot of people say she is now free, but you kind of don't agree with that.
Oh, no, absolutely not. She may be free in terms of being on probation, but she's certainly not free from an economic point of view. She's got to pay for that ankle monitor. She's going to be monitored. She cannot just go about her daily life like any normal person would, and it's wrong.
And again, my last question for you, Denise, as a supporter, would you say this story is over, or does it live on? How will it continue to live on?
Well, this story definitely lives on, because what has happened is it's brought progressivism to Jacksonville. It's opened a lot of wounds in terms of dealing with domestic violence, and we will continue to fight for women and to let people know that Black women lives matter, and we will continue to stand for justice here in Jacksonville.
Thank you so much, Denise Hunt. I do appreciate it. And again, I just want to show you guys this. These are some of the supporters as well who have been out here all morning long since 5 a.m. Marissa Alexander has a strong support team. And even though she's going home today and going to be on house arrest for 2 years, she still has plenty of people standing behind her. For now, reporting live at the Duval County Courthouse, Francesca Marq, Channel 4, the local station.
All right, thank you, Francesca. We're going to have much more on Marissa Alexander's release tonight, starting at 10 o'clock. If you'd like to read the court documents or her plea agreement, we've posted those documents on news4jax.com. Just look inside our top story.
We are following breaking news for you right now from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Tonight, the agency is mourning the loss of one of their own in a motorcycle crash that happened in St. Johns County. Corrections Officer Roger Highcove Jr. was killed when his motorcycle collided with a van. It happened on State Road 13 in Switzerland. Officer Highcove was with JSO since May of last year and was the son of Police Lieutenant Roger Highcove. JSO released a statement this evening that reads, Sheriff John Rutherford and the entire JSO family wish to express our deepest condolences to the Highcove family, Roger's many friends, and we hold them in our prayers. We'll have more on this breaking news coming up tonight at 10 and 11. There's still more to come from the blizzard of 2015. Massachusetts digging out of several feet of snow and dealing with flooding. The snowstorm sparing much of New York and New Jersey.
We obviously missed the worst of this storm, which is a blessing for New York City.
The massive blizzard wasn't as strong, thankfully, as forecasters predicted.
People across the Northeast, they were told to stock up on food. Instead, many residents in New York turned today into a snow day. 7 states, from New Jersey to New Hampshire, declared states of emergency. Now, travel bans have been lifted and the public transit system returned to its regular schedule. But snow is still falling and air travel still backed up. Many flight delays coast to coast could continue through tomorrow. Massachusetts is being hit with strong winds and 32 inches of snow in some places. Homes and businesses also dealing with severe coastal flooding after a seawall collapsed there. Some challenges, rescue crews they faced today. A snowplow caught fire while removing snow from the street. Authorities called all their warnings and preparations a better safe than sorry scenario.
Everyone has heeded our warning and has taken our advice. People have stayed indoors, and it's allowed us to plow the streets freely.
And as the Northeast is trying to thaw out, planes started flying again in and out of New York LaGuardia's airport. Spirit Airlines there was the first major carrier to land its plane on that icy runway today. New York's other airports, JFK and Newark, continued some of their flights as well.
No sunshine yet, but certainly a relief for our family and friends up north.
Yeah, the blizzard wasn't as bad as many people expected. The Weather Authority's Rebecca Berry is joining us now with really just how much snow fell in the Northeast. Rebecca?
It wasn't nearly as much as some of those forecasts that you saw of 3 feet. And the reason for that is because that low pressure system that all this messy weather is surrounding tracked a little bit further to the east than anticipated. And so you see this swath where the heaviest snow is falling. It just barely scraped the coastline there instead of being predominantly over the Northeast. And so that's the good news, is if this low pressure system had been a little bit further to the west, we would have probably seen those snowfall totals that were predicted up there realized. But here's the snowfall totals that we did see. These were the heaviest in Massachusetts. 30 inches in Framingham. Acton got 28 inches, just like Littleton. Tinsboro got 27. Plymouth got 21 inches, and Boston got just over 18 inches of snow. It was a little bit less than that in some areas in New York, but Orient was right up there with 28 inches, along with Mattituck at 24 inches. Hampton Bay got 24 inches of snow, but across New York City from LaGuardia to JFK to Central Park, 11 inches to 7 inches. So not quite as much for New York City there, thank goodness. Here's New Jersey snowfall totals, much less than a foot across the board there. And then in Connecticut, we got some of those heavier snowfall totals. 23 inches in Waterford. Baltic got 20 inches along with Groton. Norwich got 19 inches along with Haddam. And New Haven lucked out there with only 7.5 inches of snow. And so still a lot of snow to deal with, but nothing like those potentially historic forecasts that we saw yesterday coming out of the city.
Another breaking news alert. We have just learned that the U.S. Coast Guard has suspended its search efforts for a missing kayaker off the coast of Mayport today. The Coast Guard searched more than 4,400 square miles for Garth Sangre, but they have never found him or his kayak. The Guard says recent weather worked against them, and with the colder temperatures, it was more difficult than ever to search for the UNF student. 22-year-old Sangre is believed to have gone kayaking Saturday near the Jacksonville Beach Pier, and that was the last time that anyone has heard from him.
A senior State Department official is confirming the death of one U.S. citizen in today's attack on a Libyan hotel. The official isn't providing any further details. Libyan officials say 4 foreigners and 5 guards were killed after gunmen stormed a hotel in Tripoli. Still to come, a city council meeting in Minnesota interrupted by gunfire.
Get down, everybody get down.
The gunman sent council members scrambling. More on the 2 police officers who were hit by bullets ahead.
I'm Mike Vasalinda in the state capitol, where after 57% of voters said they wanted medical marijuana, one state senator wants to give it to you. I've got the story coming up.
And here's a look at your stocks today. The Dow Jones down, the NASDAQ down 90 points, and the S&P 500 also down 27.54 points. We'll be right back.